Hello and welcome to the TT Podcast, the podcast where we talk to one person from the world of the TT to discuss their lives, their journeys and their ambitions with the greatest motorsporting event in the world. And we are still here on the island, actually in Lee's home. This is where you're staying at the minute, isn't it?
It's a privilege to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for the hospitality.
Did that sound
sincere?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. I've worked on that.
It was good
times.
effort, but no.
Try again the next
Great
time.
spot though. We're like, you open the door here and you're into the paddock.
Well, that's why I bought it.
Let's be clear, he didn't buy it. He's just staying in it while we're here. This next guest that we've got coming up, most people will know him nowadays as the rider liaison officer, but not the one we're thinking of. Most people think of Milky.
He's the poster boy, isn't he?
But the real brains behind it is John Barton.
Yeah.
Who of the two, did you have a lot to deal with?
Well, both
with
of them,
Barty?
yeah. So like he says, you get the old switcheroo now and again. But yeah, I spend a lot of time with Milky. My actual first lap was with Milky, me and Carl Horace. But yeah, I spoke to Barty as much, and even after and during and everything, like he's going to say. So top guy, and I don't think we maybe really fully appreciate how lucky we are to have him and Milky now, because we never didn't have them. You know, older riders will know how hard it was and stuff like that. So they're a massive part of this event being safer than what it was.
Well, let's get the old fridge freezer on.
That's pretty good.
Here's the fridge freezer. Don't look so shocked, John.
You what?
Don't look so shocked. You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah,
Right.
not bad at all.
I don't even know where to start with this one, because there's so much I want to know. One, about your racing career, and then two, about why'd you look like that when I said your racing career?
Yeah,
I bet there's a lot to talk about in
yeah,
it.
there is a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've never been the best about talking about myself.
Today that's going to change.
It is.
It is, right,
We're just going to
okay.
shut up, not say a word, and literally just hand the baton to you. But not only have you been racing the TT, the majority of people nowadays will probably know you as a rider liaison officer. I think that's your title.
Yeah.
And that fascinates me because of what you're doing, especially when we get a lot of riders on the podcast who have come through and they've either ridden with you or they've been out on laps with you.
Yeah.
But before all that, you are a TT rider first and foremost. And you only retired, was it last year or year before?
Last year was my last TT.
Yeah.
Yeah, 33 years doing the TT.
Almost as old as me.
Yeah.
He
Scary
still might come back, I reckon.
stuff. No.
He just set off air a second ago. He was planning next year's TT.
No, definitely not. Do you know what? This year at the TT, I didn't know how I was going to kind of feel, but I was lucky enough to get 2 laps on the course.
Yeah.
And as much as I loved it, when I got back, I went, yeah, I'm done. And it happened the way I wanted to do it last year. I'd never wanted to be forced to stop the TT now, because it's been so much of my life. And then last year, as much as I enjoyed the race, I got off and I thought, yeah, no, that's it.
You can park it and
I'm
have
done. No regrets.
There's not many people get to be that position.
No, it took 33 years.
Yeah, I know, but regardless of time,
No.
and for you to do them 2 laps and not to be instantly regretting it, or to be genuinely fulfilled.
Yeah.
That's a massive thing.
No, it
when
was
you
good for
speak to
me
a lot.
because even coming into TT this year, you're never quite sure how you're going to feel, especially now we're doing this new role as well at TT. Yeah, I didn't want to be here for 2 weeks just going, oh, God.
I wish I was out there.
Yeah, but fortunately I did the newcomers lap early on in the week, and as I say, as much as I loved it, I thought, I've done the right decision.
Right, so let's go back to the start of your career then.
Start, yeah.
Right at the start. Obviously, you listen to the podcast every episode, don't you?
Yeah,
You love them all.
religiously.
Yeah. What's your favourite episode?
2.
You've got 2 favourite episodes.
Lee Johnson's first episode and Lee Johnson's second episode.
Sold.
But there's a bit of a tradition on the podcast where we ask the same question to everyone that comes.
Yeah.
And I guess there's 2 parts of this question, and it's getting that tap on the shoulder, running up into no man's land. What's it feel like?
Yeah.
1 as a rider,
Yeah.
and then 2 as the rider liaison officer that's taken some of those newcomers when they're getting the tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
How does it feel? How does it feel as a rider?
As a rider, for me, it's still the best feeling that I kind of ever get anywhere. In all my racing career, I've raced all over the world pretty much at lots of different levels. But this is still the one that triggers it. TT's different, isn't it? Because you're up on that grid. You're going to almost go from 0 to flat out in no time. And 5 minutes earlier, you're sat on the side of the road talking to your wife and your kids and your mates and all that. And I was always a rider that got like proper seriously nervous as well. I couldn't eat from the moment I got up to the moment I sort of maybe get down a bit of drink, but that was it. But it was a weird feeling really, because you would have thought it got worse as you got closer to the race. But for me, as soon as I got on the bike, helmet on, through that no man's land, it was like almost like
silence and
peace.
This is it.
All the bullshit stops. No one's at me anymore. This is me now, enjoying myself for the race.
So basically, you just did it for a bit of peace and quiet.
Yeah,
that's what most riders
when I was still
pretty extreme. To get a bit of
the last few years, obviously of racing. Obviously, I've been heavily involved with the teaching and the other stuff behind the scenes. And you never get a minute's peace all day long. There's always someone at you, or the phone's going.
Yeah.
And I often said to my wife, I said, look, she said, you're right. I said, I can't wait. 40 minutes of peace. No one battering me, no one on the phone or anything. And that was it. And then it's just, as you say, you go through that thing, don't you? And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You get tap on the shoulder, and that's it. And then obviously, as everyone knows, the nerves go, and then everything else kicks off into place now.
I wanted to ask you this actually. Over the period of time that you have raced at the TT, quite now on the grid at the TT, it's quite busy with like VIPs and big sponsors and everything. So it's I don't know, I can't say what it was like 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you now is because I personally, that's what I struggle with a little bit, is I see all these people and they're looking at me and they're really nervous, or they look really nervous, and I'm thinking, you're not even getting on a motorbike, and you're looking at me like I should be. Like I honestly, I'm quite lucky with nerves. I obviously feel nervous before, but no, I'm not too bad. I can still eat and everything. But then I get up there, and then I think if them people weren't there, I would be loads more better. Relaxed, because if it was just my own team, and if you see Michael comes up really late and doesn't speak for that reason, but you look at all these people and they're all sitting shitting themselves, and I'm like, you're about to go to hospitality and drink wine or drink, and I'm about to get on my bike and you're making me nervous. It's like but
the thing is, I mean, I've taken guests or friends up onto that grid, and afterwards you speak to them, and a lot of them say, I've never felt like that ever at a football match or anywhere they've been. They said you cannot help but feel that emotion that's on the TT start line.
What do you think makes that? Or
I think it's just because it is the TT. It is what it is. People, even though they're not in the motorbikes, they understand it's probably the most dangerous motorbike race that happens, and they get to know what it's all about. And I think the other thing is, like, people often say to me, it's like, it's weird because you're up there and you give your wife a big hug and a kiss, and you give your daughter a kiss, and you hug your son, and you jump on your motorbike and you head down the hill. And then what we don't see is that they're then looking at my wife and the kids, and they're all like, they're like, well, we don't feel it. No. We know 100% what's happening all the time. Those poor devils,
you're in control of
that. They don't understand. They don't know what's going on all the time.
Yeah.
And it must be odd, because I remember when he used to come, because when I was this side, my dad was racing here. And I remember feeling the same. And then coming back to your other story now, I feel the same with my newcomers.
Well, that's it. That's what I was getting at. Do you feel that nervous
I'm
energy when they're setting off?
Yeah, just I don't know what the feeling is, because you obviously get to know them so well over the winter. We're all chatting around and having a laugh, and we get to know their families, we get to know their mum and dads and kids and stuff. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, I've taught this lad, and I really hope
you've got like a duty of care almost.
Exactly, I really hope. First and foremost, he's listened to what me and Milky have said, and he's safe, and he's done his own work. And secondly, I just hope he enjoys it as much as I have done. Yeah.
So here's a question then. You say, I hope he's safe. How safe can you be?
You can be.
Can you get around here relatively safely?
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. If you learn it, if you listen to people that you can trust, and you do what we say to do. Me and Milky, between us, have got 30 odd years of experience if it's going to go wrong, we know where it's going to go wrong, and we know why it's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
So we can fill all them with all that information. You see.
Yeah.
So providing they soak all that up, they're going to come into sections where it can go wrong, and they'll go, I know what not to do here.
Yeah.
You throw a red flag out before and
exactly
trigger
all those little things.
Yeah.
All the little teaching points that they need to know. Provided they've listened to what we've done, and they do what we say, then you can race this place safely.
Yeah.
Just going back quickly to, when they get back, because you get the biggest job.
Yeah.
I did physio. I was talking to a newcomer the other day, and I seen a few guys come back, but you've got a connection. You've taught them, then you've brought them round, and then you get to literally see that first time their eyeballs. Do you know what I mean? Like that must be.
Yeah, it is when you like, because all through the winter you're going like this, and you're telling them this, and you're telling them that, and they kind of go, I understand.
Whatever.
Whatever. And then you can't pull in after that lap, or more. It's mainly at the end of the first night when they've been out on themselves, and they take that helmet off, and that. But you look into their eyes and they look at you, and there's that instant realisation. I know what you mean now.
He's not full of shit.
He's not full of shit. Yeah, exactly. And also, over the years, I'm not going to name any names, but you get egos here. You get egos coming over. Oh yeah, and I'm going around telling them bits and pieces, and then they on the phone.
Yeah, he's talking about me.
Yeah. And then there's no place on earth that's going to kick an ego out of you like this place. And it has happened on a couple of occasions, and I wish I'd done more. And that's what we say to the newcomers, really. Don't get here and have regrets that you could have learnt more.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than that. Because we always say, the more you know, the more you learn, the more enjoyable your experience is going to be. Because you're safe and you're going quick. There's nothing worse than here and turning up the TT. Because also at TT, it's a massive pressure cooker system in it. And we're throwing them newcomers into this whole sort of system. So, they've got to be able to deal with that as well. And that's part of our selection process.
Let's go back to that then.
We are so lucky now, as even from when I first come, because the generation before me didn't get what I got. It
was just like tap on the shoulder, off you go.
Like you speak to say McGuinness or anybody like that, and if you know, it was literally you got your license signed off and you turned up and went, on you go, lad.
My first lap was 5:30 here on a Monday morning. Yeah, as a 17-year-old kid.
You didn't have time to get nervous.
The only thing I'd ever watched was V for Victory. It was the only thing that was out at the time. The Joey first.
V for Victory on VHS.
That's what I learned. How I learned to see, as well as obviously being here as a kid and going around with my mum and dad in the car and stuff like that. But
so go on then. Tell us how that process starts as a newcomer. Well, are the newcomers passed on from Paul Phillips down to you guys saying these are the newcomers that we need to look after, and then do you get assigned a certain amount of them that you'll look after and Milky will look after, or you kind of work together?
All the sort of the initial feed comes from Paul in the department. A lot of people contact Paul, fancy doing it, and or he will be beavering behind the scenes, seeing.
They sort of sort out first, because not everybody can. I'm not singling you. You couldn't just go, I want to go and do the TT. No. Do you know what I mean? You'll show an interest, and then they'll go, you're not really at this level, or you're not, whether they've been to the especially if so I never went to the Manx, but because you ride in British Championship, you're sort of seen as being sort of capable to ride a motorbike and go. But if it's probably different that if you were a club racer, or not club racer, but a level below that, then you would maybe be either told to go to the Manx, or they would bring you in sort of figure out, or have you done any Irish road racing, or there's a sort of, everybody's different in that sense before getting sent to.
So you just get the whole, get all the names together, and then you say, okay, well, obviously, we'll go through their CVs, look what they've done, say, look, lads, really good, but I think the Manx is for you. You go and do the Manx for a year or two, see how your times come on, and because as I was coming back to before this pressure cooker system, for a newcomer now to come here and qualify for the big bike race, he's going to have to do over 120 mile an hour. That's some serious pressure on someone's shoulders. So it's not only we don't only look at their riding ability, it's as a person as well. So the first thing we do is say, right, we think you've got potential. Come over for a weekend. Would you come over, have a bit of fun, go out for a bit of tea, and do some laps, and see whether we think they're the sort of character that can handle that side of it as well. because
of course,
with that itself brings pressure. And what we don't want to get, obviously, into the situation is where a newcomer goes too quick too soon. Because that doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help them.
Yeah.
So it's a well kind of structured process that they go through.
And would you potentially look at a newcomer and say, we think you're good for it, but come back? It's going to take you a year to learn without actually riding the course.
Yep.
See, that's a thing I think that doesn't get enough credit or publicity, that the efforts that you all go to to keep people, because it's so quick to jump on the bandwagon. Oh, someone's got killed at the TT. That place is dangerous. This is that. But there's not many sport. Like if you had some kid going to British Championship, there's not people like this helping them. You know what I mean? It doesn't exist. This is the only here, and I suppose a little bit at the Northwest, but still not to the level of empathy. Is that the right word? Because he genuinely cares about you. Like you say, you meet somebody's family.
I suppose it's the ideal couple, really, myself and Milky, because since we were that high, I never started racing to do this.
And he's
similar to Milky, and I've lived here now for 25, 26. It's everything in my life, you know. And so we can offer that to them.
And it's up to them how much they use of it, you know what I mean?
How much they use of it. But we're also, we're aware of how bad the newcomer record used to be, for bad accidents. Because back in the day, I remember the first or second year I was starting to do this job, which is like 17, 18 years ago now. And it was for the Manx Grand Prix, and I had a newcomer over that was going to be doing the TT the following year. So I thought, well, come out at the Manx, you'll see all the course set up, ready to go. So we went out and got to Ramsey, and we all kind of normally stop for an ice cream or a cup of tea or something. And then this lad come up to me in a race shirt, and he said, "Where's the paddock?" Clearly a foreigner.
I went, he was in Ramsey.
I went. It's at the grandstand, in Douglas. Oh, where is that? So I went, oh, wait a minute. So and then I just thought, it just struck me. I was like,
if he doesn't,
are you riding? He went, yeah, Manx Grand Prix tomorrow. Seriously. And this is what it used to be. And we had that terrible morning, didn't we? There was 125 lad, never been to the island, went down Brea, around Quarterbridge, and went straight on to Barton, killed himself. And we thought, that can't happen anymore.
No.
You cannot allow that sort of thing to happen anymore. Yeah. So that's why, Philly obviously started it all with Milky, and then I came in a little bit later. Because obviously we want the TT to continue for years and years and years, but we're also conscious that we've got to make it. We've got to make it as safe and structured as we possibly can. Yeah. So that's where it all come about, really.
Well, that's it. You can go on Twitter at any point and someone will say that people aren't doing enough for the safety of the sport because there's not enough air fences around every single wall. But there's more going on behind the scenes than what people see, and that is one of the things. By getting those newcomers to take a step back, to teach them how to do it. Yeah. So they've come over, you've assessed them and the character, and they're capable of doing it. Yeah. You then say, we think you're capable of doing it. Yeah. Then what happens? Do you give them like a homework book that they have to study, or do you just say, go away, come back in 3 weeks and we'll see where you're at, or a month or whatever it is?
we made up a DVD with me riding the bike and Milky doing the voiceover, which we've done a new one, I think, hopefully going to come out next year. And all that does, it just goes over all the same teaching points that we use. Yeah. So it just filters in. And then we also say, look, you've got to look at other people. It's not just me and Milky, but you've got to take some advice of other people, which is another thing. You've got to be, you've got to be so careful who you get advice off. Because there's a load of bullshit that goes around. Take this flat out and brake here. And you're like, what? Leave it out. So go around with people that you trust. Because what you find is that I'll say something, Milky say something, Leah say something, Connor will say something. And what ends up, people end up making up their own lap. Yeah. So they'll take my bit from there, Lee's bit from there, this, and then it all, however it works for them, it gels for them, and then they go off and do their thing.
Yeah, I was going to say on that point of like getting information off people, it's something I'm really cautious of. Is like I've been asked in the last day or two to go round with the kid in the van, and I said no, but not because I would really like to help the person, but I said I'm completely open to him coming and asking me a question, but I'm not going to sit and, so say I'm doing 128 mile an hour on a 600, he's here on a 600, and if I turn around and go, oh, well, I go flat out through there, or I brake there, or I go down one and I'm straight on the gas. That is no relevance to him whatsoever, and I can't really remember what I would do at 118 or 20. So I'm actually no benefit, in a sense. He's better off asking, and it sounds arrogant or whatever, but it's not. I mean, he'd be better off asking a Manx kid that knows where they're going, that's doing 122 mile an hour.
Yeah.
And he would actually give him enough to get a step, and then he wants someone that does 124, 20, like what we spoke to Mike Brown. That's the best way to do it. But unfortunately, kids or younger people will go and I'm not just saying me, but they'll think, oh, Michael Dunlop must know, or Peter Hickman must know, but it's a completely different
track.
It might, a different track, different bike, different everything. Yeah. It's not even on the same channel.
Don't
do you know
watch quick on-board laps. Yeah. They're no good to you.
Yeah,
because you can't pick up any relevance from them at all, and that's what we don't tell them how quick to go. How can I tell Peter Hickman or Lee Johnson how quick to go? They're all. We only bring top class riders here, so I can't tell them out, but I can tell them how to get around this track safely and how to get the best out of the track. So don't look at a 130 plus lap when you're first starting out, because you just won't be able to comprehend it, will you?
Yeah. So what are the main points that you'd go through with someone to get them through safely? Because it's probably not like you say, it's not braking markers and things like that. I guess it's. I
mean, there's some areas where there's natural braking markers that we use,
like the end of Solby and
or into Ballacrane. You got the arrows, and you got all the into Handleys. You got the arrows on the thing again. But more importantly, it's all about the sections that lead onto areas that can get you into trouble, or areas that like the jumps, or the bumps, the blind areas. Because so many corners on the TT course, they're all late apexes. Yeah, so you got to be confident.
You can't. What he means by that is if you're in a little bit hot, it's not like an early apex and you can get out of trouble. You need to be slowing up to get back. Yeah. So if you're in deep, you're
screwed already.
You're screwed. And even things like, there's places on the mountain or certain things, they don't look the same to us now, but if you were a newcomer and go, oh, this first left's flat out, but the second left's down a gear and in, and if you got them two mixed up,
that's it.
Do you know what I mean? That'll be things where they'll go, and I remember, like, it's a long time, and I still even look at Milky's thing or the video now, but I can remember all them things and people say to you all the time, oh, how can you remember that many corners? If someone's standing there with a gun to your head, do you know what I mean? All of a sudden your attention span is a lot higher than, because it's really...
but you don't know the names of them all, though,
but the name doesn't make... I've got people like this and Milky, when they come up with damp patches, and luckily it's always the same damp patch, so I know, so I don't need to know, like out of Ramsey and places like that. But sometimes I'll be looking at that board and I'll be going, oh, God, I don't know the name of that place. And I swear, Milky will see me or Philly will see me and they come over and they go, do you know where such and such is? I go, yeah. And he goes, well, 2 corners after that, then that left, that's the one. And that it's pathetic, I know, but I just can't, I can take in every inch of the tarmac, the bumps, the grates, the white lines, the bus stops, the phone boxes, the walls. That is all in my head. But the names... I've obviously got the famous names, but not outside of that.
Is it important to know the names then, or not?
No, it's not important. It's important sometimes because
for explaining or for places,
or if you're looking for advice, you say, well, if you Bob McGarra or 13th milestone, you can
instantly place yourself there.
Like Bruce Anstey never knew the names of anyone.
No, but I helped that. I mean, when I was a kid, that helped me put my lap together.
Yeah.
Because I would sit at home because we didn't have the onboards or games. So I would sit at home. I would go, Courtbridge, Branbridge, Union Mills, Balagary, just over and over and over. And So I'm already really hot. I'm really good on the names. But as you say, the new breed, it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, but again, it's what happens between Balagary and what would the next point be that you'd think of? Balagary, Grieber
Castle.
Yeah. It's the road between that. What's happening?
Yeah.
Is what you need to know, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the other thing we ram home to the newcomers is that this place, more than you can't switch off.
No.
You cannot switch off because a lot of people go, I'm on the Mountain Mile now. Yeah, great. A Mountain Mile at 160 miles an hour is like crazy, isn't it? Or what you've just said, Glenvine to Balagary to Griever Castle, you got Crosby Jump.
Yeah.
You got Crosby Turn. It's not just that. And a lot of people, I've done it. You must have done it where you go, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But that's it. Like, well, I play the game, and it's safe as houses playing the game. But I know, because I'm like you a bit, and I'll go, right, next, I know Crosby's coming up. But then you completely forget that there is that fast left-hander coming.
Yeah.
You just think, right, think of Crosby, and then all of a sudden you're like,
Tell you something, no, you
left-hander.
don't forget
won't
that
forget
when
it
you're
on
on
the
the
bike.
bike.
No, you don't, because every time you come, especially on the big bike, you're like, oh no. I'm like the same with Balacry.
Yeah.
Every time I come around Balacry, oh no. Yeah.
But this is the weird thing. You don't have to do it, Baham. I mean, you don't do it anymore.
No, I don't.
It's bizarre that you put yourself through that. You're like, oh God, I don't want to go over that. Oh, I'm over it now. Poof,
Yeah.
and off
But
you go.
everyone has those turns here, don't they? My worst bottom of the garage, I hated it.
Yeah.
The top was my favourite corner out of the whole course, but
Yeah.
the bottom I was the worst, slowest tart through there. Yeah.
Because
I just hated it.
Just in your
I
head,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know why. But it was just, I just knew what I had to do, but I just couldn't do it. Couldn't go through there quick enough, really.
even after 33 years.
Yeah.
So you're always,
sometimes you just have a mental block, don't you, on certain corners. Yeah.
So then, with how far have we got with this newcomer now? They've come over a few times.
Yeah.
And then eventually
You think they're going to be, like, each time, I can remember this as well, because I feel young again now.
You've done it,
this,
yeah.
But, like, even, like he says, each time you come over, you said you get homework, and they're sly, do you know what I mean? They'll not give you homework, but they'll go, and then sometimes you could be cruising along in the car. Milky used to bring me in his little... what did he have?
Smart car.
Smart car, yeah.
Car, yeah.
So literally, there was no getting away from him. The car was this big and Milky was beside you. But he'd say things like, we're coming up to where?
Yeah.
And
What's
I
next?
might not know the name, but I'll go over a Crosby, back out to the left, and I could talk. That's when you know.
Yeah.
And he'll say, you talk your way to the next 5 mile.
Right.
And that would be your homework, or that would be the knowing. And then you go, well, he's either a lazy shit.
Yeah.
Or he's...
Yeah, and then after that lap, you'd either we'd either praise you or say, look, come on.
So
you got up your game here.
Is
Yeah.
it more about knowing it or proving that you're preparing and you're putting the work in?
It's knowing it, because me and Milky will know by the time we get to Balacrane whether you've
done your homework.
game.
Yeah.
And the other thing we say to which Leo because the first time you get them over, it's like they're like, oh my God, how am I going to learn all this?
Get a quarter
It's just
bridge
like,
and you're like,
it's just like your
already
head's
it's
battered.
gone. Yeah.
Because there's that much information coming. I always say to them, look, don't stress. Go back from the first trip. Do your DVDs. Watch it. When you come back next time, everything starts to
it is
fall
the
into
first. It is a
place.
head melt. It's like literally you get overloaded with information,
Yeah.
and that's not even. You're sitting in a car with someone else driving, so you imagine then the senses you get, like the first time you get on the bike behind him. This is what other people. Sometimes I've been asked by people that are newcomers, going, "Oh, what would you do here? Or what gear would you?" I was like, even for the first 2 mile of going through the crossroads and down Bray Hill, you've stopped there 99% of the time in the car. You're doing 30 mile an hour. You're doing 170 mile an hour. When you get there on your motorbike, the thing jumps back down again over the crest. It wheelies back down again out to the curb, and it's like there's 15 bits of information that didn't happen in the car, just the feeling of it,
first bit,
and that's you're not even a mile.
No, and then I don't know what you're like, but I mean, 6 laps used to do me head in. I used to proper do me head in, and I'd go off, and the place for me would be on the first lap coming out on the top of Cronk-the-Body, and you're like, "Wow!" It's going like that, thinking, "Oh God, 6 more laps of this." It's
so common. You have that feeling, and all you think. Everyone else thinks that. Everybody you speak to, first pit stop, you're like, "Oh my God,
how am I going to
4 more laps to do?" Second pit stop, I feel all right. You get to the end. Well, I could have done another 2 laps. You're like absolutely dying.
You just batter your own head, don't you? Really, I think. Yeah.
So that's it for the first part of the podcast with Johnny Barton. But be sure to check us out next week when you'll be able to hear this little beauty from him.
It had to have something. It had to have that injection of something to bring it back through those poor days, to get it back on its feet, like where it was in the sort of maybe the 70s and that.
Yeah.
Where do you think it would be now then without?
I don't think it would.
I don't think it'd be here.
Oh.
Not at all.
I wouldn't say that to Paul, because I don't want to blow any smoke up his back.
No, exactly.
I won't say
he's not seeing this, is he?
single-handedly.
He's not lacking in any confidence as it is.
No.
If you want to hear that, check it out next week right here on TT Plus. Thanks for watching. See you later, Lee.
Bye for now.